Hello everyone, Meisterang here, and I saw some tips and tricks on the Demon Bluff Discord server, and decided I would see if I can use those to make even more progress in my endless runs. Alright, what do we have? We have a doppelganger, and that's the only source of a duplicate we can have. So the two confessors are real, and the third confessor is not corrupted and is just evil. Goodbye, fake confessor. Alright. Fortune teller is truthful, which means plague doctor is... Yeah, which means the fortune teller saying 2 and 3 are not evil has to be true. So the plague doctor is real, and the lover is real, but since 2 and 4 are also good, the lover has to be truthful as well. Minion is 1 card away from closest evil. Well, we know for sure that that's false. And the Plague Doctor says the Scout is not corrupted, so goodbye, Lilith. And we had a Corrupted Bard and a Scout. Cool. So far, so good. I did not take advantage of any of these pro tips and tricks for that first level, but, you know, we're doing great. And what do we have? We have 2 outcasts. Okay, 3, 4, and 8 have 1 of each. So the knight could be the drunk. That's what I'm kind of concerned about. I want to test the knight. Okay, the poet says that the 2 evils are next to each other. Okay. Okay, what happens if I kill the knight and the knight is the drunk? Then I know the bishop is truthful, and then 3 or 8 is evil. If 3 is good, then it's 7 and 8. And if, yeah, so it would be either these guys, or it would be the poet is evil, the slayer is good, and I can use the slayer to test the possibility, like if it turns out the knight is the drunk, then I can use the slayer on the poet. If the poet survives, then I kill 7 and 8. So it's perfectly safe to kill the knight, because if the knight is corrupted, then it's either 2 and 3, and 2 kills 3, or it's 7 and 8. So yeah, either way, it's completely solved. Okay, so the knight is good and not corrupted. Okay. I don't know if the bishop... Yeah, I don't know about the bishop. I was just saying that the bishop would be truthful if, in fact, 4 was the drunk. Okay. Well, I kind of feel like just self-testing the judge. I am a fan of just having everyone test themselves if they can. Okay, if it turns out the judge is evil, then I kill the judge, and that's cool. And then... and then what? If I find out... I'm just going to test the judge. It's probably solvable at this point. Okay? You know, finding the drunk, that's perfectly fine. Okay. So there's 1 outsider remaining. And it could be the Bombardier, or it could be a Doppelganger, or it could be another Bombardier under door number 8. What if I kill the bishop, just to find out if the bishop is truthful? Well, that's great if the bishop is evil, and if the bishop is truthful, I have to kind of solve it from there. And 3 and 8 would contain a minion, and an outcast. So the Bombardier would be evil, and then 3 or 8 would be evil. And the other would be, I guess, a doppelganger? Or a Bombardier under door number 8. In this case, it would have to be, I believe it would have to be 3 that's evil. Okay, so suppose that 3 is good and 8 is evil. Then 3 is an outsider. Okay, 3 would have to be the doppelganger, but 3 can't be copying anybody. So, that's impossible for 3 to be a doppelganger. Okay, cool. 1, 5, and 7. Okay, that is truthful. Bishop number 8 is truthful because 1 is a minion. So 5 has to be a villager. And I think it's either the poet or the slayer. Okay. Yeah, because if the poet's good, then number 2 and 1 are the pair of evil, and then if the poet's evil, then the slayer can kill number 3. Alright, I'm just going to click everybody, and we might have a doppelganger and a fake plague doctor. So it might be possible that 4 and 7 are good. Do I have anything obvious that I can check? Yeah, so the medium is claiming that the Empress is good. The other medium is claiming that the Enlightened is good. The Hunter is claiming that either the Empress or the medium is evil. Is there anybody that I know is truthful? Is it possible for 5 or 9 to be fake, but good because they're a doppelganger? The Enlightened... Well, let's see what we have. Enlightened, Knitter, Fortune Teller, Architect, Judge, Empress, Hunter. Okay, those are all different, so if it's a doppelganger pair, it has to be the mediums. Okay. Okay, what if I kill the Empress? And then it turns out the Empress is good. Or corrupted. If the Empress is good, then 3, 7, or 9 is evil. Oh, that means 7 and 9 cannot both be evil. Okay. Yeah, 7 and 9 are not both evil. If 7 is evil, then 9 would have to also be evil, which means 7 has to be good. We don't know if 7 is truthful, because 7 could be corrupted and 9 could be evil. Alright. Yeah, so the Hunter is accusing the Empress of being evil. I could... I'm considering killing number 5. If I kill number 5, then, well, then what? If I kill number 5 and number 5 is corrupted, then I know that, then I know that 3, 7, and 9 are all good. I don't know if they're truthful. I also know that this hunter is, not, truthful. If I kill the Empress and the Empress is corrupted, the Empress could be corrupted by the Plague Doctor, or the Empress could be corrupted by the Poisoner. Anyway, in that case, we know that the hunter is lying. And we know that the medium is truthful. So if the Empress is corrupted by the Plague Doctor, then 6 cannot be next to a poisoner, so 6 would have to be evil. If 5 is corrupted by a poisoner, then 6 has to be evil. Okay? What if I kill the Empress? Well, okay, then I find that the Hunter is the poisoner. The Enlightened is good, the Judge is good, and then I know that 4 and 7 are a doppelganger pair, 8 is evil, and this knitter is truthful, the fortune teller is easy to test, and the entire village is solved if the Empress is corrupted. Okay, what if the Empress is truthful? Okay, so, alright, what did we have here? We had, yeah, we only knew that the medium is good. Okay, so if 5 is corrupted, then we're good. If 5 is good and truthful, well, then we know that the hunter is evil, the medium is good, and then I can easily test, oh, then 7 is the doppelganger, or 4 and 7 are a doppelganger pair, because they're both good. The Plague Doctor is evil. The Enlightened is good. The Knitter is telling the truth. So the Enlightened has to be corrupted by the Plague Doctor, who is actually a poisoner. And the Judge and Fortune Teller are easy to test. Okay. So it's easy to solve. It's solvable. Okay, cool. It was solvable if the Empress was good, and it was also solvable if the Empress is good but corrupted. Okay, so the Hunter... Yeah, let's clear all of this. Yeah, so the medium is good. The medium is not truthful. Hunter is truthful. Yeah, the medium claims that the enlightened is a real enlightened, which is true, but the enlightened... Actually, yeah, the medium could be corrupted, right. We have... What happens if the medium is corrupted? If the medium is corrupted, then the mediums have to be a doppelganger pair. The Plague Doctor is fake, and 3 is the poisoner. Okay, so it's perfectly safe to kill the medium. Okay, we're doing great. So now we know that the Plague Doctor is real. I think I can just start testing people one at a time. Like, I can test the Judge easily. The Architect has to be good, because if she's evil, then her statement has to be truthful. And, yeah, so she can't be evil. She could be corrupted if 9 was evil, but then the medium would also have to be corrupted, which is not possible if 9 is the poisoner. Okay, so the Architect is telling the truth. The Enlightened is good. The Empress is truthful. Is it possible this Enlightened is truthful? 8, 7, 6, 5. Okay, so that's 4 people over. 10, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the Enlightened claims that the Judge is evil. This Knitter is not telling the truth. Alright, is the Knitter corrupted? Nope. Goodbye, Knitter. One or 2 is a puppet. Interesting. Well, 2 cannot be a puppet. So the Oracle is accusing 1 of being a puppet. Yeah, the puppet only exists if the puppeteer turns a villager into a puppet. The puppeteer cannot turn an outcast into a puppet. And if the bombardier is fake, then the puppeteer cannot turn an evil into a puppet either. Anyway, if the Oracle is... Well, okay, so the Oracle is saying 1 or 2 is a puppet. Either one of them is a puppet and the other is good, or they're both good. Either way, the bombardier has to be good, because the bombardier cannot be the puppet. Awesome, so I've identified the one outcast in the level. What does that mean? That means there's no drunk, so there cannot be any corruption. That also means the jester has to be truthful, since he can't be corrupted, and if he's evil, then he's the puppet. Yeah, so the jester is telling the truth, for sure. Let's, I might as well click 3 people with him. 0 evils among this guy. Oh, among these 3. Okay. So the jester has to be the puppet. 8 is the puppeteer. Yeah, so 8 is the puppeteer, 1 is the puppet, and 3 and 4 are both good. Okay. Well, I could leave the jester alive. I'm going to see if I can get this, if I can finish this without, allowing Lilith to kill anybody. So this person's a judge. Okay. Is 5 telling the truth? Nope. Look at that. Beautiful village solve. I got very lucky that the puppet jester hit 3 people that were not evil. Can we have duplicates? Yes, we can, because we might have a doppelganger. Okay. We also might have a drunk. If I have a drunk, then going down to 6 health would be risky, but eh. What if I, I'll test the fortune teller just on herself. Or whatever, on 2 people that I already know. Yeah, so the druid is good. Evils are not adjacent. That's probably true. Does Alchemist really cure 1 corruption? Well, let's see what the Plague Doctor thinks. Plague Doctor thinks that 6 is not corrupted. Okay, it's... The Alchemist can only be corrupted if he was corrupted by the... if he's the drunk. Yeah, because 4 would have cured him if he was corrupted by the Plague Doctor. So the Alchemist could be the drunk, then the Plague Doctor could be evil. Okay. Oh, wait, but the Alchemist can't be the drunk, because the drunk cannot copy somebody who's already in play. So 6 is for sure not corrupted, 7 is telling the truth, and, yeah, and I don't know if 6 is telling the truth or not. 6 could be good or evil. Alright. Six might be the doppelganger. I'll try to test the druid. Druid says there are no outcasts. Okay, so the druid could be corrupted, in which case, I don't know, sucks to be me. Okay, good. So I found one, yeah, I found one of the evils. Okay, so Lilith will never copy somebody who's already in play. So 6 cannot be a Lilith. Therefore, 6 must be good. So 6 is good. That means 4 and 6 are a doppelganger pair. So we have a doppelganger and a plague doctor, and we do not have a drunk, and we do not have anybody who's corrupted. So it's guaranteed safe to kill the knight. Awesome. Alright, we got 2 dreamers. Nice. We might have a doppelganger pair. Yeah, the 2 dreamers could be a doppelganger pair. Okay. Counselor is 3 away from closest evil. Okay. Okay, Gemcrafter claims that 3 is good. Oracle claims that 7 or 8 is evil. Okay. If this Oracle is telling the truth, then, yeah, 7 or 8 would be a counselor, and they would have to be next to an outcast, which is actually impossible. So the Oracle cannot be truthful. The Gemcrafter and the Scout are good. Yeah, there's clearly no doppelganger among 6, 7, 8, and 1. And oh, wait a second. We have a counselor, which means we have an extra outcast. So we have 2 outcasts, and they must be a bombardier and a doppelganger. Okay. So 5 cannot be a puka, and 7 also cannot be a puka. Yeah, because they have to be good. So 6 cannot be corrupted, because 6 is not next to a puka. Alright, 6 is the puka, 7 is corrupted, and 3 is evil. Okay, nothing I can do here, let's just keep going. Okay, well, number 6 is clearly lying. I'm gonna kill number 6, and if number 6 is the drunk, then oh well. Okay, very good that I succeeded in killing the Lilith. Well, it's safe to kill to reveal the last card, but I guess I have a witch, so I can't do that. Alright, so the Scout says that the Lilith is 3 away from closest evil, which means the Scout claims that this is good, and that 9 is evil. Okay. We do not have a doppelganger, so both of the hunters can't both be telling the truth. Or they can't both be good. Is it possible for 2 to be telling the truth? No, because these would all have to be good. 5 is the second evil, and there's no third evil. So, goodbye, Hunter. Okay. Well, at this point, there's only 1 evil left, so if the Scout is telling the truth, then it has to be 9. The lover is accusing the hunter. I think the lover is probably the drunk. Well, okay, if the lover's truthful, then the hunter is evil. But then the hunter has to be telling the truth. So the lover cannot be truthful. The lover also cannot... Well, okay, could the lover be evil? Well, then the hunter has to be the drunk because he's not evil, but he's not truthful. And then 3 and 9 cannot be resolved. So the lover has to be the drunk, the hunter is not evil, the scout is not evil, and 9 is evil. Okay. Guess I just have to keep going. Alright, 2 plague doctors. When we have multiple plague doctors, I just test one on the other. Okay. Goodbye, fake plague doctor. I can't test the plague doctor on himself because he always sees himself as not corrupted, no matter whether he's good or evil. Okay. There could be another fake plague doctor or whatever. This could be a fake outcast. That would be surprising. It would have been nice if this fake plague doctor pointed to somebody that I didn't already know whether they were evil or not. But what can you do? What am I doing? Oh, I'm using the judge's ability before I click the last card. Yeah, you in nighttime reset the judge's ability. So the judge is truthful. Closest evil is clockwise. If that was true, then well, it's 3 at most counterclockwise to get to an evil. So it has to be 2 clockwise, which means the scout is evil, the plague doctor, I mean, whatever, I know the plague doctor is evil, and both of these are good. Then 3 is evil. Okay. And then 8 is not actually good. So 8 cannot be truthful. Could 8 be corrupted? Well, closest evil is clockwise, so yeah, suppose this is not true, but the enlightened is good. I mean, I don't know, this architect could be evil, this knitter could, like, I don't know, something like that. Yeah, so, yeah, I guess it has to be 1 and 7 in this case. Okay, so it could be 1 and 7, and then 8 is corrupted, and... Okay. Could be that. Oh, it's actually fully solved if 8 turns out to be corrupted. Okay. Oh, so 8 is not good. 6 is evil, 3 is corrupted. Okay. If this plague doctor was lying, then 3 would not be corrupted, so 3 would be evil, so that would be 4 evils. Okay. We have 2 bards. We could have 2 bards if there's a doppelganger. But otherwise, they're probably... Well, otherwise one of them has to be evil. Or maybe even both of them. Alright, 5, 6, and 8 allegedly contain a minion and an outcast. Okay. Well, okay, suppose the bishop is corrupted. Then 6 and 8 are both good. 7 would have to be corrupted by the Plague Doctor, since the bishop is not touching a poisoner or puka. Okay. The bishop could be evil. If the bishop is evil, then all 3 of these are good. This bard is probably truthful. Okay, 3, 4, or 6 evil. Well, Okay, if the bishop is corrupted, I want to see if it's safe to kill the bishop. So suppose this bishop is corrupted, then 7 would be corrupted by the Plague Doctor, or 7 would be the drunk. Either way, I guess. Yeah, so 7 is corrupted, 6 is good and not corrupted, 5 is good but might be corrupted, 8 is good but might be corrupted. I don't know about this bard. Well, one of the bards has to be evil. Well, if the Plague Doctor is real, then one of the bards has to be evil. So I guess at least one of these 3 has to be... whatever. One of those 3 has to be evil. Actually, can I test the judge on the knitter right now? Well, suppose the knitter is evil. Then this bishop has to be truthful. 5 has to be corrupted by the poisoner, and then 8 has to be the drunk. Okay. Then the Plague Doctor is evil. Okay. Bard is good, other bard is good, and there's a doppelganger, and then 3 would have to be good in this case. So if it turns out that the knitter is evil, then it would be 2 and 6. So that's a possibility, and then 6 would have corrupted 5, and then 8 is the drunk. Oh, but then 2 is the puka, and demons will never disguise as an outcast. So it's impossible for 6 to be evil. 6 cannot be evil. 6 could be corrupted, though. Alright, so 6 is good. Okay, then what? What if, okay, could 6 be corrupted? Probably, yeah. I think it's very likely that 6 could be corrupted. Okay, I'm going to test the judge on the knitter. The judge thinks that the knitter is saying truth. That's cool. Okay, I'm just going to kill one of the bards. Oh, goodbye, Plague Doctor. Okay. So that means this bard is real, since the doppelganger is duplicating him. That also means the knitter has to be corrupted. Well, okay, so that also means 3 is corrupted. Or lying. Or just evil. Okay. Could 3 be evil? Could 3 be the puka? Well, if 3 is the puka, then 3 should be lying about 6 being truthful. But 6 is actually truthful. So 3 cannot be the puka. So the judge is just truthful and corrupted. That means the bard is truthful and, or whatever, good and not corrupted. Um, so 3 is good, 4 is good, and 6 is good. So this Empress is lying. Oh, but the doppelganger says that the Empress is corrupted. So the Empress has to be corrupted by the Puka. Okay. Well, we can flip everyone since there's no Lilith and there's no Witch. Okay, Alchemist is truthful. We don't know if Alchemist is the puppet. We know that Alchemist is not the puppet since the Oracle would never say 4 or 7 is the puppeteer if 4 was the puppet. Okay, so 4 is good. 7 cannot be evil because then 7 would lie about 7 being a puppeteer. So 7 has to be corrupted. Yeah, 7 is just corrupted. 7 is good but corrupted. We don't know if 7's the drunk or if 7 is evil. But given that I have narrowed down one of the corrupted people, it's likely that the confessor is not corrupted. Okay, so worst case scenario, Oracle's the drunk. 9 is corrupted for real. Nobody else can be corrupted. So then I can safely kill, or whatever, I can test the judge and then kill him if he's not truthful, and kill the other one if he is truthful. And actually, I could test the Slayer. Yeah, I would. Okay, so if if I kill 9 and 9 is corrupted, then 7 is the other corrupted. 8 or 1 is the poisoner. And then I know that 7 and 9 are not evil. So 1 would claim that 5 is evil. Then I can, then what? Then I test the judge to see if he's truthful. If he's not truthful, then he must be evil. I have the Slayer test himself on the judge. Then I know if the Empress is evil. And I guess if the judge is truthful, then I know the Empress is the poisoner. But I think I would test the Slayer. Well, I would have to consider whether to test the Slayer or not. But if I know the Empress is the poisoner, then I know that the medium is evil. Then, since I know 7's the drunk, I can test the druid on 7. I can easily test this judge on anybody. Okay, so I think it's solved if it turns out that that 8 is good. Okay, what if I kill the confessor, she's corrupted, and 8 is evil? Well, 1 and 8 could both be evil. I think I would want to use the Slayer. I think I would want to use the Slayer on the judge. If the judge dies, then the Slayer's good, and if the judge survives, then I kill them both. And depending on if it turns out, yeah, if the Slayer is good, then the Empress is evil. If the Slayer is evil, then the Empress is good. So it'd be the judge, and then one of these two. I can test the druid, I can test the judge. Although I could be in a situation where there's a puppet, and I don't know which side the puppet is on. Oh man, so I did not examine the possibility that, okay, so the judge is good. Yeah, so if the judge is good, then the Empress, well, actually, if the judge is truthful, well, whatever. If the judge is truthful, then the Empress is evil and poisoner. I can test the Slayer. Okay. I know the medium is evil. The Slayer could be the puppet if the 6 is the puppeteer. Then if 6 is not the puppeteer, then 5 would have to be good, and then I could use 5 to test 2 and 3. Okay, so if it turns out that the judge is truthful, then I know that 1 is the poisoner, 6 is evil. If 6 is the puppeteer, then it's solved. And then if 6 is not the puppeteer, then I can test the Slayer on one of these two people. Actually, 3 would have to be the puppeteer and 2 would have to be the puppet, since the puppeteer turns an existing villager into a puppet. So what that means is, since only one judge is generated, the other judge cannot be a puppet, because then we would have started with 2 puppets. Okay, so if I kill the confessor is corrupted, and the judge is good, or if he's truthful, then I have a solve. If the confessor is corrupted and the judge turns out to be lying, then I kill him. If he is the poisoner, well, if he's not the poisoner, then I kill 1, because 1 is the poisoner. Then I know that 5 is not evil. I know that 6 is evil. That should not be possible. Okay, I think it's solved if I kill the confessor and she's corrupted. Okay, so let's, yeah, so we're going to test the judge. The judge thinks that the confessor is lying, which is a big lie. Wait, so the judge is a liar. The confessor, or the oracle is the drunk. Yeah, so the confessor cannot lie. So the judge is lying. I kill the judge. The judge is the poisoner. I can test the druid. Druid thinks there's a drunk. Druid is telling the truth. Was I supposed to have the Slayer kill the poisoner? I don't remember. Oh, we don't know if the druid is the puppet. Well, we know the druid is not the puppeteer, at least. Okay, I thought I had this solved. I forgot the solution. Okay. So the Empress thinks that the Slayer is evil. The Medium thinks that the Empress is good. Actually, either way, the Druid has to be the puppet. And I'll explain why. Since, okay, suppose... So if the Empress is the puppeteer, then 2 is the puppet, obviously. If 3 is the puppeteer, then 2 is the puppet, since I've established that 4 cannot be the puppet. Okay, so the only other possibility is that 6 and 5 are puppeteer and puppet. If 6 is the puppeteer, then... actually... Oh my goodness. If 6 is the puppeteer, then 1 is the Lilith, and then 5 has to be good, even though 5 is the puppet. So it's impossible for the medium to be evil in this scenario. Well, it's impossible for the medium to be the puppeteer in this scenario. Could the medium be the puppet? Medium's the puppet. Empress is fake. No, the Empress is real. And then 5 is the puppeteer. And this judge is also evil. Okay. Did I say Lilith at one point? Whatever. Okay, this is definitely solvable at this point. So it's either these two or it's these two. Okay. Alright, that was kind of scary. Cured 0. Wretch is always good. I could have the Slayer try to kill the Wretch. But I do lose 5 health if the Slayer successfully kills the Wretch. No corrupted characters. Okay, that's true. 1 or 3 is a counselor. Okay, well 1's not a counselor, so 3 has to be a counselor. If that's true. Bishop is telling the truth, since if the bishop was lying, all 3 of them would be villagers, but the wretch cannot be a villager. If the wretch was some other face-up outsider, then the bishop would still be truthful, since a face-up outsider is either the outsider they claim to be or an evil. Okay. Anyway, bishop's truthful, wretch is, quote-unquote evil. 1 and 8 are some outcasts. Oh, 1 and 8 contain an outcast. The counselor has to be sitting next to an outcast, and it's impossible for the counselor to be sitting next to 1 or 8. So the counselor has to be sitting next to 2. Awesome. Good job, Oracle. You get to live. Okay. Nothing I can do yet. We have 2 outcasts. Okay, I could test the judge on the dead person, but the dead person could be corrupted. Let's test the judge on the plague doctor. Okay. Actually, the plague doctor might have been the worst person to test with the judge, because I might find out that the plague doctor was telling the truth, and then, after I use the judge's ability again, I don't know. We'll see what I end up doing. Anyway, we have 2 scouts. Considering we have 2 outcasts, one of the scouts could be a doppelganger. I'm gonna test the druid. I think I can probably test the druid on 5, 7, and 9. Druid thinks there are no outcasts. Alright, druid has to go. It's like I was thinking it was extremely likely that 5, 7, and 9 had a plague doctor or a doppelganger. So that's why I thought the druid was lying. The druid could have been corrupted. Well, whatever. Okay, which one of these is corrupted? Well, suppose the knitter is corrupted. Then the evils are adjacent and 3 is evil. Okay. If the knitter is not corrupted and the empress is corrupted, then 4, 7, and 8 are good. And, yeah, either way, this empress is lying. Which means 4, 7, and 8 are all good. We don't know if the judge is corrupted. Actually, the only way the judge could be corrupted is if 5 is fake and 6 is the real plague doctor. That'd be kind of whack. Anyway, I will test the Empress. Okay, Plague Doctor says that 2 is evil, which is true, and 3 is corrupted, which must be true. So Judge is telling the truth, and I think 1 has to be evil, Wait, no. Well, I'm just gonna... Yeah, so I thought 7 was probably truthful, so Poisoner is next to the other evil. That's what I was thinking. Alright, we got a Puka round. Or whatever, a 1 evil round. Alright, so we got a Drunk, and we got a Puka. Okay, what do we have here? We have that. I could have the Dreamer test herself. I could have the Dreamer test anyone, right? Well, hold on. So if I have the Dreamer, like if I have the Dreamer test 4, for instance, then if the Dreamer is good and the Empress is also good, the Dreamer will say Puka, and that statement's worthless. If I have the Dreamer test herself, the Dreamer will say, and the Dreamer says Puka, then we actually know that the Dreamer is good. If the Dreamer is the Puka, she'll say Minion or Counselor or whatever the heck. So I think the Dreamer's only use is to test herself. Okay, so the Dreamer is good. Yeah, because if she was the Puka, she would say something random. We don't know if the Dreamer is next to the Puka, and we also don't know if the Dreamer is the Drunk. Oh, we have 2 Slayers. Oh, so one of the Slayers has to be the Drunk, and the other has to be the Puka. Since we can't have any duplicates, so one of the Slayers has to be evil, which means one of them is the Puka. But since the Puka never double claims, we know that we know that the other one has to also be fake. Yeah, so one of them's Drunk, the other one's Puka. Alright, well, Confessor is good. Gemcrafter is good and truthful. We could have a fake Bombardier and a Doppelganger. Oracle is good. Scout is good, but might be corrupted. Actually, no. We know that 1 is not a Puka, and the Puka will never disguise as an outcast. So it's impossible for the Scout to be corrupted, since the only source of corruption is the Puka. There's no well, there might be a Doppelganger, but 1 is not a Doppelganger, because there's no second Gemcrafter. So this medium has to be telling the truth. Yeah, 7 has to be the Puka, and the reason is because if 6 was the Puka, 5 would be corrupted. But 5 is clearly not corrupted. So 7 is the Puka, and 6 has to be the twin minion. Whoop! Autopiloted that. Okay, cured 0 corruptions. Cured 2 corruptions. The only way that Alchemist could be good is if the Alchemist was corrupted by a Plague Doctor. Okay, the Alchemist is corrupted by a Plague Doctor. The other Alchemist is the Doppelganger. And then we know that there's no more corruption. So Confessor's evil. Gemcrafter's evil. I can test the Dreamer easily enough. And then the Architect is evil since, or whatever, the left side is more evil. Architect has to be evil. Well, yeah, then at this point it's one of those two, and either way, the right side is more evil. So if I kill the Alchemist and he's good, then it's just 2, 4, and 5. Okay, cool. Alright, good job, Dreamer. You get to live. And, it's actually impossible for 5 to be corrupted, since 5 would have been cured by the Alchemist. Awesome. Okay, so the Counselor is next to an Outcast, which means that either the Alchemist or the architect is a doppelganger. Oh, this doppelganger has to be telling the truth, by the way, since there are two evils on the left. All right, well, what's here? All right, lover's telling the truth. Oh, Gemcrafter is lying. Nice. All right, original baker. Truthful alchemist, but could be a puppet. And in that case, number 10 would have to be a puppeteer, which feels like it's unlikely, but it's definitely possible. Actually, there's no puppet, because we have three evils. Okay, cool. So this alchemist is just a real alchemist. So 9 would have been turned into an alchemist if 9 would have been turned into a baker if 10 was fake. 10 could be corrupted by the Plague Doctor. So I don't know if he used to be a jester, but I mean, whatever. Alright, 4 is claiming that 1 is a puppeteer. 1 is claiming that 3 is evil. Is it possible? I'm trying to evaluate number 2. Could number 2 be lying? I think number 2 has to be telling the truth. But if number 2 is lying, well then the poet and the Gemcrafter are both good. 1 would be corrupted by the Plague Doctor. 4 would not be corrupted. 4 would be evil. And 3 would have to be evil. Okay, so the hunter is telling the truth for sure. Alright, 1 accuses 3. 4 accuses 1. And 3 says 4 is good. Okay, suppose 1 is a puppeteer. Then 2 and 10 have to be both outcasts, since we've established that they're both good. 10 must be a villager, because 9 would have been turned into a baker if 10 was an outcast. Yeah, so 4 is not truthful. 1 must be a regular, 1 must be an actual poet. 1 could be corrupted, but whatever. And since we know this hunter is telling the truth, 3 has to be evil. Actually, 1 must be truthful. 4 is not good. And I'll just test the judge. Okay, judge is telling the truth. I think the hunter has to be... Well, the hunter could be corrupted, right? I'm just gonna kill the hunter, see what happens. Oh. Alright. Cured 2 corruptions. Well, that's obviously false. Do I just want to kill him right now and hope that I kill a Lilith? So he could be corrupted. You know what? Let's see if the Slayer can kill him. Hey, good job, Slayer. What a legend. Slayer just saved somebody's life. All right, Dreamer's telling the truth. And Jester is not truthful. 6 is truthful, but 6 is not truthful. Yeah, so it's either 5 and 6 are the combination of poisoner and corrupted poison victim. So 7 has to be truthful, so 5 is poisoned and 6 is the poisoner. Yep, no witch and no Lilith means we click everyone. Okay. We have 2 empresses. Okay, what does that mean? So suppose that both of the Empresses are good. Well, they would be a doppelganger pair. 2 would be evil, and then 3 and 6 are good, and then 1 and 8 are good. So it would look like that if both of the Empresses are good. And closest evil is clockwise. Okay, well, since this enlightened is not telling the truth, and there's no corruption, the hypothetical falls apart here. So, yeah, so it's impossible for both of the Empresses to be good. Wait, Jester, Enlightened, Fortune Teller, Dreamer, Gemcrafter. Those are all different. So there's no other possible doppelganger, which means, yeah, the Bombardier is the only possible outcast. Okay. So at least one of the Empresses is lying. Could they both be lying? Could they both be evil? No. Since if 6 is evil, then 8 has to be good. Okay, so one of these is evil and the other one is good. Okay. So that means there's one evil remaining among the rest of the group. If the Gemcrafter is evil, then the Dreamer is also evil. And if the Gemcrafter is good, then the Dreamer is also good. So these people both have to be good. I'm going to test the Fortune Teller. Fortune Teller is a big liar. What about the Jester? Wait, no, the Jester is definitely good and truthful. So I can just, you know, test one of the Empresses, and he says that the Empress is evil, so well, he says that the one he pointed at was evil. Okay. What does the Fortune Teller think about the 2 lovers, I guess? Thinks that one of them is evil, which is probably true. Well, actually, the Fortune Teller herself could be evil. Well, okay. Now what? There's one outcast, so I don't know. Well, okay, so it's either the Plague Doctor is real, or there's a doppelganger somewhere. Or I guess there's a different Plague Doctor. Okay, so the Bard thinks that one of these people is corrupted. Okay. Um, hmm. So, yeah, we have a pair because of the shaman. So right now, we don't have any real reason to think that we probably have a doppelganger. See if the judge agrees with the fortune teller. Nope. What does the fortune teller think of? Well, let's just do this. I mean, I'm just going to use the fortune teller's ability on somebody, on 2 people, I guess. Well, okay, does the fortune teller think that the plague doctor is evil? No. Well, I guess I can test the plague doctor on the other plague doctor. Okay, so the fortune teller is a liar. Which means both of these lovers have to be good. This lover has to be truthful. Is it possible that 2 is corrupted? Then 3 is not evil, so 3 also has to be corrupted. But there's only 1 corruption in this lobby. So both of the lovers are truthful. Fortune teller's evil. And oh, it's 4 or 9. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I can try to get more information out of the fake fortune teller. 2, 6, and 7. Well, let's see if the Lilith thinks that the bishop is evil. Okay, the Lilith thinks that the bishop is not evil. Nice. Okay. Alright, good job, bishop. You successfully pointed at the wretch. Alright, what does the judge think about the wretch? Alright, good job, judge. You get to live. Villager, outcast, and minion. Okay, what does the druid think about? Druid thinks there are no outcasts among 1, 4, and 8. So the druid is lying, but the druid has to be good, which means the druid has to be corrupted, which means the druid has to be the drunk. The lover is telling the truth. The jester is lying. It must be evil since there's no more corruption. And the other bishop is also lying. Yeah, there's no more corruption, so... Oh, I guess 9 is the Lilith. Alright, well that's a nice 20 villages that we did, so that's a good stopping point, I think. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.